Welcome again to Get Your Life Together podcast. It's your host again on the show, POK. Of course, I have a general with me today, a general in the world of business. Yeah, I'm calling him a general because he's done it. He's somebody that have gone to battle with business owners, somebody that have won wars for business owners, the war of revenue generation, the war of marketing, the war of emailing and everything that you used to do about customer and business. I say, oh, so that's why I feel blessed. I feel you yourself is going to be blessed today by having this person with me on the show. Of course, I'm listening to your comments on social media. I see them, I read them, and I'm putting them, I'm implementing them. So feel free to share your comment about this particular one as well. Feel free to learn, feel free to implement the lessons therein, and feel free to share with your friends and family. And of course, today we'll go into the topic called the blueprint for unbreakable customer loyalty. And this is for my business. Well, of course, on Get Your Life Together podcast, we talk masculinity at times. Sometimes we talk religion. Sometimes it's about business. Of course, it's about everything that will help you to get your life together. Because we believe if you can get your life together, you can get the life of a family together, the life of your community. Just maybe you can also get the life of your country together. And together we can make the world a better place. And on that note, welcome Aaron Ejeme. Aaron, how you doing?
Yo, I'm good. It feels good to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And I look forward to sharing at least some of my knowledge with business owners. Yeah, it's good to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aaron. My first interaction with you was when you did something around email training for people. I was quite new in the game of marketing then, and I was on that webinar. It was awesome, and I was receiving your email after that webinar, and I was like, nah, this guy knows what he knows his onions as far as email marketing is concerned. I want to start from there. How do you think? I believe businesses as a whole, they always say, "Oh, Nigerians are no longer opening emails." Yeah, but Nigerians that open emails, and email marketing works. But who do it very well? What are those things that you think business owners are getting wrong as far as email marketing is concerned? Let's start from there.
Email marketing. Well, the most important thing is that most business owners are not looking at the big picture. Now, what do I mean? It's important to understand the fundamental reason behind everything. Now, email marketing is just a channel in a large scheme of things. Now, how do I mean? As a business owner, the most important thing you have to do is that you need to grow a relationship with your customers. It's something we say over and over again, but it's something we say it a lot, but it's not everybody that implements it. For the guys on this that are listening to this podcast, for the ladies listening to this podcast, if you are married or if you're in a relationship, when you first met your partner, you did not on that first day say, "Hey, I want you to marry me. I want you to be my girlfriend," immediately. There had to be that, over some time, you had to chat with each other, make calls. Then when we used to have midnight call, you speak on the call with the person. There had to be that back and forth communication over a period of time before the person was like, "Okay, yeah, I think I enjoy conversations with this person. I think I would like to, date this person. I think I would like to marry this person." It's the same thing with business also. These people that come to buy your products, right? They are humans like you. We are all emotional, right? So if you are able to be in consistent communication with your customer, that it does two things, right? Number one, it puts you top of mind, because I know I'm going far, but it's important to understand these things, right? The way the human mind works, right? The human mind is split into two parts. We have the conscious and the subconscious mind. Now, addiction, driving, smoking, things that we do over and over again becomes our second nature. So in the same way, if you as a business owner, you are in consistent communication with your customer, you are impressing your brand, you are impressing your products on the subconscious mind of the customer. So because you have communicated with them over and over again, they remember you. When they have a problem tomorrow, they'll be like, oh, that my customer, let me just buy from that person, because you are in consistent communication with them, which now brings us to email marketing as one of the channels for this consistent communication. So almost everybody in Nigeria today has an email, because if you have a smartphone, you have an email address. You cannot use a smartphone without a Google. If you are using an Android, you cannot use an Android without having an email, even though you don't know how to speak ABCD. As far as you have an Android phone, you need to have an email address. So everybody has, almost, let me not say everybody, that would be back by data, right? But
Yeah.
a high majority of people have email addresses. Billions of people, the data is there. There are billions of people that have email addresses. So if you as a business owner, you add email as one of the channels you use to communicate with your customers, I bet you that's a big deal. Because if you even remember what happened some years ago during Buhari's era, when he posted something on Twitter and Twitter blocked him, and then they banned Twitter, it affected a lot of businesses who depended solely on Twitter found it
Yeah.
difficult. But imagine that even though Twitter was shut down today and you have all the email addresses of all your customers, you are not going to feel it, because you can still communicate with them. You are not solely based on social media. You have the contact detail, which is the email address of this your customer. So if businesses understand that fundamental principle behind it, right, and understand that email marketing is just one of those channels that you can use for consistent customer communication, I believe that businesses to look at the big picture.
Yeah. Yeah. I also believe that as well. Another thing I believe is, how do customer now communicate value? Because I believe if you don't make them feel valuable via your emails, via your calls, via your social media posts, there's something you can do about it. You have to make them feel valuable. How do you make them feel valuable so that they cannot become a loyal customer?
Yeah, so in terms of making people feel value, right? So there's this concept called perceived value and experienced value, right? So if okay, like for example now, if you ask me, okay, what kind of car would you like to drive? I would really love to drive a G-Wagon. I really love that. I really, really love that car. So
That's
it's a
interesting.
perceived value. I've not experienced it, but I've perceived the value, because I really love the fact that the car it can go anywhere, it can climb anywhere. Like, it's so fascinating, right? So it's a perceived value. And I have that perceived value because I've watched so many videos. I've watched videos of G-Wagon, like Mercedes has done. So that's that's those videos I've watched, right, is it helped me perceive the value. So the day I'm going to have the money to buy a G-Wagon, I will now experience that value. So in the same way now for businesses, right, when it comes to communicating value, right, you need to be able to communicate it. It's all about communication, right? Okay, let's say I'm selling cake, right? I sell cakes. I do meat pie, small chops, etc. Now, the question now is, how am I going to present this my product so that people who are interested will be able to perceive the value to the point that they'll be like, okay, yes, this thing you are selling, I like it. Here's my money. Here's my money. Let me have a taste of this cake. Now, there are many ways, right? It can be you can push the value through words, what you say. It can be through visual content, pictures, videos, right? But the main thing is consistency, right? You cannot always get it right because there's no hard and fast rule. But if you are able to
Um,
present your product right in the right way, it will be make it easy for the target customer to perceive the value. And if they have bought from you before, they experience the value, and they'll be willing to make another order again. So that's how I see it. Yeah.
yeah. Another thing that I've always believed contributes to customer loyalty is being able to connect emotionally with your customer base. being able to connect emotionally. Because if you don't connect if you don't bring in emotions into this, I don't know if you see it in that way as well.
Yes, I do. So coming from that angle, it's even this company does that a lot. Indomie, right? So of recent, we're complaining that Indomie has been too expensive, blah blah blah. If you notice now, Indomie kind of like doubled their marketing campaigns. I don't know if you noticed, there have been a lot of ads,
Yes.
and then the emotional angle that Indomie now comes in, they come from that, motherly love angle. You watch their ads, the mother does the Indomie, the children eat the Indomie, the children are so happy. Remember this song, Mama to cook food,
Yeah, I know that ad.
that emotional. So Indomie as a brand is really doing that so well. So if anybody asks me today, okay, so how do I as a business owner, have that emotional connection to my customers? I'll say, study what Indomie is doing.
Study what Indomie is doing. Indomie is a good. And I always tell people you learn more when you study what is working already.
Yes.
That's how you learn more, especially in marketing and business. I always tell people, study your competitor. Study them. Like, your competitor that is sure is doing better than you. Study them. Study them.
Yes.
Okay, aside connecting emotionally with your customer, what's another thing you've seen in your experience that helps in building an unbreakable customer loyalty?
Another thing is personalization, right? It's on different levels. So one level, a company we can look at is, if we look at YouTube, right? So YouTube, it's based on their algorithm, right? Yeah, they're a tech product. So YouTube, depending on what you've watched, when you're on YouTube, you can never run out of what to watch. You can never ever, because YouTube understands your interests, understand your preferences. So they keep suggesting to you videos that fit into the same kind of genre of videos you've watched before. Spotify too does the same thing too. Spotify, based on the kind of songs you've listened to, they will suggest songs to you because they understand you. Now, for businesses also, how can we do this? How can we add personalization? When it comes to like email marketing, it's simple things as, instead of sending an email and saying, "Hey dear," or "Hey friend," you use the person's name. "Hi Aaron, thank you so much for buying our product. Thank you so much. We appreciate the fact that you bought our product. We look forward to, seeing you next time, or because of you, but you bought our product, we have 10% discount." The fact that you use my name, I'm like, okay, these people are actually thinking about me as a customer. That's one way. Another way of personalization is, okay, I bought a product from this shop, and then yes, they are sending bulk SMS, but even in the bulk SMS, they took time to say, okay, "Hi Aaron, thank you for," I don't know if you get where I'm coming from, right? So personalization is very important, because the way we are as humans, we like it when people give us attention. Like I don't know if you
Yes.
give us attention.
Yeah,
Yes.
one of the things that I've observed about the personalization thing is what big brands are doing with the Gen Z.
Yeah.
They are hiring Gen Z writers to write in their tone. When you're writing content, they ask you to write it in this tone, write it in this in that tone, and then I think personalization cut across everything that you're doing in your business. Be it you're writing your blogs, your content, your social media posts, your social media caption, everything. When you do it has to align with the tone of your target audience, right? Which will increase the personalization. So, outside of the fact that we've been able to talk about communication, building your communication, a very good communication channel with your customers, building emotion into it, and then personalization. One of the things I also want us to talk about is how to measure growth. You see, I believe many businesses always focus on the money. Yeah, money is a good measure of growth. But there's something about growth that I've observed. Money is the physical one that you see. For example, a brand that is going to do $1 million in next 6 months. There are some things that will be happening now that you will be seeing those things already as a business owner. that you will just be like, oh, we just need to double up on these things. We just need to double up on these things. Example, one of the clients I worked for, there was a time that he set a target of $100,000. And then my colleague were like, oh, are we going to make these targets? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. As at that time, we were making about 40, we were doing about 40,000. And I was saying, we are going to do it. We're going to meet that target. And we beat that target. Why? Because I saw the growth, but they are not seeing it because they only see the money. So I believe whatever is not measured cannot be improved. For example, I run ads for the brand. I do emailing and all this. I can see our open rates increasing. I can see our click-through rates increasing. I can see the impression on ads increasing. I can see the click increasing. So I know there's a possibility for us to meet that target because I can see some growth measure. So what are the things how do you measure growth in business outside of revenue this time around? Which will now help us understand that, okay, my customers are becoming loyal. The customers are now, my retention rate is getting higher and those kind of things.
Well, I'll try not to be too technical, right? Because there are different.
Please, don't be too technical.
But let's look at it from growth as a concept, right? Growth as a concept cuts across all facets of life. So if, for example, we take a seed of corn and we put the corn in the ground, how do we measure growth for that corn? First, we look at, okay, how does the stem, how high does the stem increase every week or every day, every month? How many leaves are coming out? What's the height of that corn that we planted? It gets to see, okay, it has grown to this level now. How many corn bulbs came out of it? Okay, as it has gone to see, okay, we've harvested the corn. Okay, is it time to cut it down? So in the same way, right, for business, there are, just like you mentioned, right, there are different things that you can measure, right, which over a period of time you can now use to see whether or not the business is growing. So removing revenue out of the revenue is obvious. It's like the obvious one, right? So things to look at: number one, we mentioned retention rate. So retention is a marketing terminology, right? So the question is, how many new customers are you getting? That's one thing you should look at. Out of these new customers you're getting, how many of them are coming back to buy from you? That's the one thing that most businesses don't look at, right?
They don't care about you.
I'm hustling. Hey, new. Those people that have bought from you before, how many of them have come back to buy from you again? That's one way to measure. Because the real money is not in new customers. The real money is in return customers. That's one thing most business owners don't really get, right? Because it's cheaper to take care of people that bought from you before than to be hustling new customers. So that's another thing to look at, like the retention rate. That is the people that have bought from you once, how many percentage of them have come back to buy from you again? Then another thing that we can use to measure growth can be, we call it CAC, the cost of acquiring a customer. So, if I'm getting in, I'm all focused on new customers. We need to look at how much we are spending to get those new customers, because business, yeah, you are getting revenue, but when you have your revenue and you minus your expenses, whatever you're left with is your profit. So the goal is to not spend so much in getting new customers, right? So that as you are making revenue, your revenue is increasing. You are able to cut down costs in terms of acquiring customers. So if you are able to measure the cost of acquiring a customer, it's called customer acquisition cost, CAC. That's one way to measure growth. Then another way, again, like I mentioned, I'm trying not to be too technical. Another thing to also look at is what we call the LTV, lifetime value. So what it means is that, let's use very simple example. So let's say I sell shoes. I make shoes online. I sell my shoes on Instagram, and I sell my shoe. This, on average, a shoe goes for like 20,000 naira, right? The question you now have to ask yourself is that, if this customer buys one shoe from me, how long will it take, right? How long will it take for this person to buy another shoe? Like, in the next, how long is it going to take for this customer to keep buying shoes from me? Because if I buy a shoe from you today, maybe I bought a shoe that will be good with Agbada. but I have jean trousers, I have casual clothes that shoe might not work for. So you want me to still buy another shoe that will be able to fit into other clothes I have. In the next 3 months, depending on how careful I am, maybe the shoe might spoil. So lifetime value is something you need to look at. Like how long will it, how much can you make on that from the head of that customer? That's how to look at it. So yes, the customer came the first time, gave you 20K, but you can make 100K from that customer. You can make even 200K, depending on how more products, like more things you are able to sell to that person. So I've said a lot of things, right? Number one, look at you know your customer retention rate. Like look at how many customers are coming in, look at how many percentage of them are coming back to buy from you, look at how much you are spending to bring them in, and then look at the lifetime value. How much can you make on that customer's head? So the higher the lifetime value you have, the more money you are able to make. Because when you now have that number, you have the CAC, which is the customer acquisition cost, or the cost of acquiring a customer, and you have the LTV, which is the lifetime value, and you divide it. That's a way to like measure that, okay, yes, this business is doing well, this business is not doing well. Yeah, I know it's becoming technical, but it's just important for you as a business owner to keep that in mind. Make sure you know how many people are coming in. Make sure you know how many percentage of them are coming back again. Make sure you know how much you are spending to bring in one customer, and make sure you know how much you can make on top that customer's head.
Thank you so much, Aaron, for that input, for that input, because if a business owner can understand what it's going to cost him or her to bring in a customer, what the customer will give him, and then how much you can take from the customer for the lifetime, and then of course the last one, will the customer come back? That's it. That's how to measure growth, my people. Aaron has done justice to that. Okay, but most of my listeners are small business owners, right? I always
Yeah.
try to get, I always try to, I love the way you broke these terminologies down, because they need to know it as a layman. But my next question is this. What are those basic skills that you think every business owner should have? Even if it's a small business owner, even if I sell on my WhatsApp, what are those skills you think I actually go research on and learn?
There are a lot of skills, but the first one is you need to in marketing. We have a terminology for it. We call it customer journey mapping. So what it means is that you need to understand, you need to be able to put yourself in your customer's shoes and understand each step it takes for them to come and meet you and buy from you. How do I mean? Let me use a business, for example. Let's say I'm a makeup artist, right? Now, as a makeup artist, how do you map your customer journey? So the customer journey is an imaginary step-by-step process a customer has to take, when they find your products. So what does it take? Okay, I'm a makeup artist now. My target market can be ladies that are getting married. Okay, what steps does it take? Number one, I know that for a person who wants to get married, a lady that wants to get married, she needs to do makeup. So she's going to be on Instagram, going to check out makeup that has been done. So she's going to be watching videos of people that have done marriage, traditional marriage, white wedding. That's one step. So I know that, okay, so that customer is going to be watching those videos. So if I'm able to put out similar videos with good quality, there's a high probability that the customer will see my video. Okay, step one, good. Step two is, after watching those videos and this potential customer is interested, she might want to maybe discuss with her husband to be, or maybe send a DM. Good. Send a DM. That means if the customer is sending a DM, you need to be able to be available when the customer sends a DM. That's step two. Okay, after sending a DM, the customer will want to see a breakdown of the price list. So me as a business, I need to make sure that I have this price list ready. So what am I trying to say is that you as a business owner, it's important for you to be able to understand the customer journey, the step-by-step process that the customer takes till when they find your products. That's one skill you should have. Number two skill you should have as a business is that you need to you need to be data driven, right? I'm not saying you should be you have to become a statistician, right? But You need to be able to measure. You need to keep records, right? You need to know, keep records of, we talked about how to measure your business. Make sure you know how many customers you are getting. Let's say every week. How many new customers did I get this week? How many percentage of them came back? You need to have those numbers like available, and it's easy for you to do that. There are tools you can use. There are tools like Bumper. There are tools like Zoho. There are many tools that can help you keep track of your business. So you need to know. So the skill is that you need to keep track of how customers are coming in and how many percentage of them are coming back. There are tools that you can use to do that. Number three skill as a business owner you need to have, you need to be consistent, right? Consistent. You
Yeah.
know, it's not doing business is not easy. Doing business is not easy. Like I'm saying this from experience, right? Doing business is not easy, but it takes consistency. You have to show up every day. You have to show up every day. And then as you are showing up, you have to make sure that you are communicating value. You need to be able to position your product in a way that the customer is able to perceive the value. Now in marketing, we have a term we call it value proposition. So it's that particular thing that your business can do. If you are selling shoes, your shoes are the best. So why are your shoes the best? There's this shoe company that my wife bought me a shoe from. It's called 19 Shoes. They're in Lekki. I've had their shoes for like a year now. Their shoes are very, very good. And the reason why I even like their shoes was the fact that, when I got the shoe, it was not my size. They were willing for me to send it back to them in Lagos. Fortunately enough, I was in Lagos during that time. So I went to their office in Lekki. They measured my leg. They gave me a bottle of water in their shop. They were apologizing to me. I should not be offended. When I go back to Abuja, they sent the shoe. The shoe had it has a bag that the shoe is inside so that dust will not affect it. Like, bro, those things, if I want to buy shoe again, I'm going to buy from 19 Shoes.
That's
So
awesome.
those are things that there are many things
That's
business owners,
awesome.
but if you're able to, have these basic things, keep records, make sure you are keeping track of, new customers that are coming back. Make sure, you understand the customer journey, understand the steps it takes the customers to find your product, and then make sure you are communicating that value. Make sure you have a clear value proposition and
Definitely, Aaron. Definitely. Thank you. Thank you so much for those insightful tips you give into business owners. Because there's nothing that especially that record keeping. I've been able to observe that the problem in many businesses is because it's record, it's data. You don't keep it. I have a friend that sells phone and gadget. I always tell him keep records. You have the phone number of your customers. You have their emails. You should know the amount of how many phones did you sell in January, in December, in February, in September. How many did you sell? What is the cost? What's the gender of your customer? Is it guys? Is it ladies? Is it parents that are actually buying from you the most? These things people don't know that. People don't try to observe these things because you are missing out. When you observe these things, you'll be able to observe patterns. Obviously we are discussing marketing and we're discussing the target audience of Indomie. And some people said, oh, it's kids. And then someone has said it's not kids. It's not children. Okay, they are the people that consume their products. But the people that pay for this product are their parents, right? So it is actually old people that as a target audience, and that's why Indomie have mothers in their ads. They have mothers in their ad. They have mothers cooking the Indomie, and then the kids are happy and everything. So most people don't actually see this pattern. It's when you see the patterns that okay, who are the people actually giving me money? Is it guys? Is it ladies? Is it undergraduates? Is it graduates? Is it parents? So these things, it's only records, it's only data that can expose these patterns to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or else you'll just be guessing, you'll be doing guesswork, which is not sustainable. So, Aaron, I want to go to mistakes, right? Because there's one experience that I always tell, that I add to my, just like we had the experience with the shoemaking brand. There's a guy I bought a shirt from. He didn't refund my money. He sold a bad shirt for me, and I always remember that. Okay, this guy never again. But the point is, I had another experience of somebody that's also sold a wrong thing for me. But if I want to, I've recommended that same person to different people. Why? Because the way he handled the whole mistake, it was awesome. I didn't later buy the thing from the person, but I got my refund, and then I was able to even recommend her to some people to buy from her. Why? Because she has been able to show trust. So I want you to talk about maybe two or three mistakes that you've seen businesses make that is actually hurting their their chance at building customer loyalty.
Yeah, so we talked about not keeping records, number one. Number two is not asking for feedback. It's good to hear from your customers,
Hmm.
right? So when you sell something to them, try and ask them. Like, it doesn't take anything, right? You can even, humans, we like doing things in exchange for something. So if somebody, let's say I'm selling cake and someone buys my cake, I'll say, please, what do you think about it? Can you leave us a review? If you leave us a review,
Hmm.
next time when you are buying from us, we'll give you 20% off. So it's important to get feedback, because it's those feedback that will help you improve. But the problem we are having in Nigeria is that because of our mentality, some business owners and do not have a positive outlook towards feedback. See what is happening with Nageko and this lady Choma. You know,
Yeah.
that company should have accepted that feedback with open arms and even used it as a marketing angle, but they failed at that. So that's a mistake businesses should not. Don't ever reject feedback, whether good or bad. Accept it with open arms. The negative feedback, work on it. Sometimes, yes, some customers might have, we call it bad belle in Nigeria. Some of them might actually have ulterior motives, but you are a brand, you are a business, right? Negative or positive feedback, accept it. The negative ones, if it's something that yes, you need to work on, tell the customer that you're going to work on it. And when you work on it, tell the customer that, oh, that thing you complained about, we've worked on it. Oh, can you buy again and let us know if it's better? It's all, like I said, it's all about relationship. Even in boyfriend and girlfriend relationship, even in marriages, there are times when you quarrel. But it is from those quarrels, those misunderstandings, that help you understand the other person better. So in the same way also, when we get negative reviews from customers, it's opportunity for us to learn. So instead of trying to be overly defensive, you should be able to accept feedback from customers, whether good or bad. Remember, business is a journey, it's not something you do at once. As you get negative feedback and you improve your business, tomorrow you most definitely get positive feedback, because you know that negative feedback, you solved it, so other customers are not going to complain about it. Then another mistake again is another mistake business owners make is that in terms of customer loyalty, right? For
Hmm.
everything in marketing, whether it's customer acquisition, whether it's customer loyalty, you need to invest some money. You need to spend some money in terms of, powering
Hmm.
some of these
Yeah.
things that will help. So, as a business, you should be willing to spend money spend money for, because customer loyalty is under marketing. So I'll say spend money for marketing.
Hmm.
You should see money for marketing as an investment, not an expense. It's just like when you buy shares for a company, and after some months or some years, the shares increase by how many percentage. The same thing with your business. The money you are putting into your business to power acquisition, to power customer loyalty, will come back in tenfold when it's coming back. So that's another mistake. Everybody doesn't want to spend too much money. You want to spend less and gain more. It doesn't work that way.
Hmm.
It's life is cause and effect,
Yeah,
right? It's
yes.
the cause that gives you the effect. So those are the few mistakes I feel like businesses should try to avoid. Yeah.
Avoid. Yeah, especially the part of not hiring professionals. I don't know what you want to say
That's
about
true.
that.
Keep my mind. That is keep my mind. That's true. That's true. Hiring professionals is also important, because you cannot really know everything. You can't really know everything. So get professionals, get people who have done this thing before. Listen to them and then give them all the resources they need to implement it, because after all, it's your business that is going to enjoy. If you were getting 100 customers before, and you get a professional, you are getting 1,000, 2,000 customers. Now you go blow. Now you are only going to pay the person for their services. The money will come back
Yeah.
to your company. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, Aaron. Thank you so much. I myself, I put down some things here. Thank you for the insights and the additional things. I want to go to knowledge, investing in your mind and books.
Yeah.
What book are you reading currently?
I'm reading a lot of books, so I'm a very curious person. So I'm something more. I see myself as an eclectic. So an eclectic is a person who believes that there is knowledge and wisdom everywhere. So I read many books. So I read books on
Wow.
religion, I read books on finances, I read books on the human mind. So in terms of finances, the book it's not like I've been reading the book for quite some time now. It's a book written
Mhm.
is written by a guy named Wallace D. Wattles. It was first published in
Okay.
1910. The book is titled
Wow.
The Science of Getting Rich. That's the name of the book,
Hmm.
The Science of Getting Rich. So what the book says is that the book says that you need to first things first, you need to understand that everything you see in the world today came from one source. Everything, both seen and unseen, came from one source. And just like how we humans, before we're able to create something, we have to think about it first. So all of us, all the planets, all the entire universe is just an idea in the mind of God. That's step one. Step two, you need to have a clear picture of what you want. Step three, that thing you want, that target you want, right? You need to always show gratitude to God, even though it has not come yet. You have to always show profound gratitude to God for what you are expecting. Then number four, you need to put in action. You cannot just think of something and be telling God thank you and not put in action. So the fact that you are thanking God for what is coming, you need to work harder than you have ever worked before. And then step five, you know, as you make the money, you are not making money just to give other people. You are making money to eat well, live well, and be merry when you choose to do so. So that's for that book, The Science of Getting Rich. The book I encourage everybody to read and study. Then
Wow.
the second book I'm studying is a book. It's a book around the history of Christianity. So so it's a book that takes us back to the first century before the Catholic Church, before the Council of Nicaea, when Emperor Constantine now made the Roman Catholic Church the official face of Christianity. But before then, there were other branches of Christianity. So the book I'm studying kind of takes us back to when Christianity was just in its early stages, so that we know what we are doing today, where it comes from. Then the third book I'm studying it's a marketing book. I've read it many times, but I still studied it. It's called Sell Like Crazy. It's written by Sabri Subi. Yeah, he's a very popular, like the OG in digital marketing. So I study his books a lot, especially in terms of lead generation, because at the current company where I'm working, most of the lead generation techniques I implement is based on what I learned in that book. So those are the three books I'm currently studying. So the one, Science of Getting Rich, the book on the origins of Christianity, and then the marketing book by Sabri Subi.
Wow. Wow. I'm gonna get Science of Getting Rich.
Yes, it's
Definitely.
a great
I'll
book.
add it
Yeah,
to my
I will send you the record. I'll send you the audio book. It's a great book. It's a great book.
wow.
It's a great book. I cannot overemphasize it. I try my best to listen to the audio book almost every day. Like today, I can actually say, like, we say along with the reader. Like I know some chapters offhand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just a
Wow.
book that opens up your mind. It helps you really, really see things for what. There's one part in the book that says that, you know, for you to be able to get rich, you need to be able to acquire the ability to think what you want to think. And for you to think what you want to think is your ability to think truth regardless of appearances. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
you may be feeling headache today, but your ability to think health even in the face of sickness, because health that is the truth, that's the reality. God did not make sickness. The sickness is just an
Mm-hmm.
appearance, it's just a temporary state. So you have to think health, not sickness. Then instead of thinking poverty, you think wealth, because wealth is a true state of things. Why? Because if you put a seed in the ground today, it's not going to give you one seed, it's going to give you thousands of seeds. So God is even the most wealthy person because everything he does is lavish. God is lavish. You see trees has millions of leaves. So
Yes.
in the same way, as a child of God, of God, we are just like our Father. So we have that ability to
Mhm.
create wealth also. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'll try and get the book. Very interesting, just like you have said. I love to explore religion, and I love to explore those things because I believe these are things that didn't get lost in history. You know, the thing I always tell people that see anything you're able to find now and read, there's a need, there's a reason why that thing was passed down. There's so many things that have been lost in history. For example, for you to be able to get a hold of the Bible and read it, it's because some people actually died preserving that thing to this point. Because anything at all, anything you find to read, they preserve because so many things have got lost in history. But for knowledge, just
True.
like the knowledge of creation, Adam and Eve story, the story of Moses, the story of the Red Sea, those stories, for them to still be in existence, it's because it has been preserved over 2,000 plus years, and then we still have.
Yeah.
So Aaron, as we close the door for today's episode, I will be asking you some this or that question.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, yes, okay. I'll be asking you some this or that question, and I want you to just give me the answer straight up. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes, I am.
Okay, emails or blogs?
Blogs. Blogs and email
Okay,
because the blog will give me more emails. So yeah.
big one.
Mm. Okay. Let's go. Give me another one. Okay,
Okay,
let me. I pick emails. Yeah, emails. I will pick emails over blog, but the blog will give me more emails. Yeah, but emails is fine.
books or podcast?
Hmm. Books. Unless the
Okay,
podcast is maybe an audio book. But books.
books. Okay, Caesar or Marcus Aurelius?
Marcus Aurelius. I think Marcus Aurelius wrote one book. It's called On Thoughts or something. Yeah, I think I'll prefer Marcus
Meditation.
Aurelius. Yes, on meditation. Yeah, I'll prefer Marcus Aurelius. Yeah.
Okay, Egusi or Ofaku?
I don't really know Fako. I'll go with Egusi.
Uh-huh.
But if you have given me Afang or Egusi, I'll go with Afang because my wife is from Akwa Ibom. So yeah, I'd rather eat Afang.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, traditional banks or fintech?
Hmm. Fintechs because of the speed. Because of the
Okay.
speed of doing things. Then maybe traditional banks because of stability. But
Yeah.
for speed, I'll go with
Yeah.
fintech.
Okay. Jobs or Moses?
You said?
Job or Moses?
Hmm. Those guys are Hebrews. So if you'd have given me options of Africans, maybe give me option of maybe um this guy in Egypt, Tehuti, or this guy,
Yeah.
the first multi-talented man ever to have existed. His name is it's at the tip of my tongue. He's an African from ancient Egypt. He was the
Imhotep.
one that
Imhotep.
Imhotep. Yes,
Yeah,
yes. So if
Imhotep.
you had given me these options, I would have been happy. But just because you gave me an option, I'll go with Moses. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Moses. All right. Rice or beans?
Hmm. Hmm. I'll go with beans. Beans I can eat beans with curry. I can eat beans with bread. I can eat beans with custard. But rice is rice. Yeah.
Okay. And lastly, ownership of a crude oil well or ownership of Tesla stock?
Hmm. 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 I'll pick the oil well because the oil can never dry
Uh,
out. Because from little they were telling us that this oil is based on what
Mhm.
that has decayed, is a lie. Is never ending. It's unlimited. There's always going to be crude oil. So I think I'll go with
Mhm.
crude oil. Where
All right. Thank you so much, Aaron. Then what will you leave my listeners with?
I'll just tell them. I'll just encourage them to just be consistent. Just be consistent. Just be consistent. Make sure that you're in consistent communication. Remember, you have grown a relationship. You can never get married to somebody the first day you meet them. So the same thing with your customers. Just be in consistent communication with them, and they'll give you more money for it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Aaron, for joining in on today's episode.
Thank you so
Like I
much.
always say, my people, keep on doing the work, keep on putting the work. You can always get the world. You can always make the world a better place. You can always get your life together from anywhere your life is. Yeah. Keep on getting your life together. Take care. I'm out.